Hello there, my name is Aaron and I'm a guy who likes to scratch build things from everyday junk. I know what you're thinking, that's a lot of trash and you forgot to tidy your workspace. You'd be half correct, but take a closer look and I'm pretty sure you will have around 90% of what's on this bench in your home right now. And that's the challenge for you this week. If you've thought about dabbling in scratch building, then today is that day. I'm going to use everything I know we all have in our homes on this build. I want you to put your big boy or girl pants on, make something and send pictures to me so I can showcase them in a later video. So let's start scratching that build. Kicking it all off is this empty shampoo bottle. Sand down to get rid of all that nasty shiny surface, using of course your other half's nail sanding stick. Now you could use a flame, but remember you need a well ventilated room, a respirator and a flamethrower or a lighter. Don't hold the flame on one point for too long, otherwise you'll be melting the bottle. And any kids that are watching this, use the nail sanding file. Don't use a flame, or get your mum or dad to do this bit. Another container, this time a soap dispenser. We need to get this cut down into half. I've already marked it. Now be very careful when cutting this. Fingers are important and we'll need fingers all intact for the rest of this build. You'll need to make a cut where the lid used to go, so use some kind of sawing instrument you have at hand. Both sides will be used to poke out the main container and slight adjustments will be needed, but you can do that with just your hobby knife. Do be careful. And you'll also have to sand down the inside of that container because again it'll be shiny. That white powder is baking powder or baking soda. You'll find a tub of this in your local supermarket in the baking aisle. I use this to strengthen any bond of super glue that I put down onto plastic. Now I know you might not have half a plastic ball, and this bit is intentional because I want to see what you come up with as a replacement. It could be another bottle, a yogurt container or anything you fancy that you want to stick on your build. So once you've found something, just stick it down and go with it. Scratch building is using your imagination and making something out of nothing. If you need to make drawings beforehand, do so. I don't because I'm rubbish at drawing and I become stuck when I can't find something I've drawn, so I just play around with junk till I feel it looks right. This is a small juice container for little people. I'm going to cut it into half because I like the shapes. Once you've cut it down, just stick either piece either side of the body and that's it. That's probably a wing or something like that. Again, I'm using baking powder just to strengthen the join, and also there's a few gaps, so using the baking soda will cover that gap. Q-tips or cotton buds. There'll be a tatty old box lurking around the back of your bathroom closet, I'm pretty sure of it. These used to be made of plastic, but I've changed to cardboard and I use these as pipes, a cheaper alternative than using styrene rod, and you can also clean out your ears before using them on your build. Brilliant. We just need to shave off the end bits to leave the bit of rod, and then what we're going to do is just attach it to any of the seams like that. So then it just covers any gaps that you can't cover with the baking powder. Because the rod bits are made of cardboard, it's easy to bend, and that's how I bend mine, just to get it into shape, ready for putting it onto the spaceship. Once you have the shape that you need, you just simply put it into place and then glue it down. Job done. I was going to cut this bit out, but I'm going to show you how I score panels into the plastic, and that's just by lightly putting my hobby knife over the plastic and just making lines. You know, like in the Star Wars films, you'll see the panel lines on the spaceships. That's what I'm just trying out here. You might not be able to do it with the plastic that you've got, but 99% of the time most plastic will let you do this. Just don't cut all the way in. It's just basically scoring the top surface of the plastic, and you'll get as many lines as you want. Now, waste not, want not, these are the bits that we chopped off the tops of the bottles. I've cut them into half, and I'm just going to stick them onto this build. So that's what I'm going to do with them. Again, you don't have to, but this is how I do my stuff. Instead of using expensive styrene sheet for panels, use a lid from a container, like a soup container or ice cream lid. Remember to sand down both sides first. Once the plastic is ready, then it's just a simple case of cutting it down to what size you want with a pair of scissors. Do try and do a better job than I did, because I seem to have got this slightly skew width. Then it's just a matter of deciding where you want some panels to go onto your spaceship and just glue them down. I didn't make the panels too big because this container is curved and it would have been a nightmare trying to curve this sort of plastic, but with time and a little bit of effort you could probably make bigger panels if you wanted, but I'm just showing you the suggestion of how to do panels for your spaceships. If you're new here, why don't you like and subscribe to the channel? It's free to you, but really helps me get noticed with YouTube's algorithm. Thank you. So what I'm doing now is I'm just putting smaller bits of plastic panel onto the panels I've already stuck down. It's that simple. I'm using more of the cotton bud rods just to cover up any sort of gaps. As you'll see, I've got sort of like half of the container covered. I'll just sort of keep adding little bits of pipes just to make it look like it's all sort of connected. And to cover that gap, I'm just using some cardboard, which everybody's got, cereal boxes, stuff like that. Lids from juice or water containers. I picked these because I want to put some tea lights into them, and these fit perfectly. If you don't have these tea lights, your local dollar or pound or euro store will have them. Mine flicker, which will just add that little effect of engines. I'm just going to do a test fit just to see if they look okay. Yep, they stick out at the sides, but that's okay, it doesn't matter. What I do now is just super glue them into place and use some more baking soda to make sure that these bad boys are going to stick. Okay, it's code word time. Regular viewers know the drill by now. If you got here without skipping, then leave this code word at the start of your comment, and the code word is that's salty. Cardstock, ruler and a pencil. We all have these in our homes. What we're going to do is make some strips so we can cover those tea lights. Simple yet effective. So the process is dab of super glue and stick the cardstock onto that, making sure that you don't get any super glue on the tea light, otherwise you won't be able to take the tea light out to turn it on to put it back in. So just make sure that you only hit the lid with the super glue and nothing else, and just work your way all the way around. I had some spare cardstock, so I just stuck some onto my spaceship. You don't have to do this, but I just did, just to cover some of the seams. Yeah, so it's up to you how much you use on your builds. Now I do believe this was one half of a floss container. Most of the people have these in their bathrooms, so I'm going to use this and I'm just going to stick it down just because I thought it looked kind of cool. If you don't have this, you could use pen lids, anything, just to start bulking out the spaceship. Now, what's in the hand? 1, 2, 3, wall plugs. I can guarantee that if you go hunting you will find at least 2 wall plugs that are totally random, probably from IKEA furniture or something like that. I love the shape, they have some cool shape. Just going to use the top bits, I'm just going to chop them down and then just stick them onto the build to make them look like, I don't know, vents or something. But it's as simple as that. Just everyday items that you're going to find randomly in your home, you're going to use on this spaceship. So without any real thought, I'm just going to stick some of these wall plugs down onto my spaceship. So a bit of super glue and then just stick them straight down. A pen lid top from a old disused marker. Just going to poke some holes in it to make it look like an engine or something, and then I'll just randomly place it onto my build. Now I did say randomly, but when I put it there it looked too hot roddish, so I'm going to think outside the box and just have a play around, and decided I liked it there. For some reason, it's your build, you put whatever you want wherever you want, but I'm going to stick this pen lid here. Another lid, this time from a soup container that I'm just going to sand down and place on the front of the ship. I greebled up the lid with some cardstock and some of the wall plugs, and then just stuck it down to the side of the front of the spaceship. This is the good bit. That is the inside from a spray bottle. We all have spray bottles in our home, some sizes, different sizes. So it took off the outer part and I'm left with this bit. I just need to do a little corrective surgery on it, and then it'll be ready to stick onto my spaceship. Now these bits from these spray bottles are very shiny, so a lot of time is going to be needed just to sand it down, just so you can make this stick. That is the lid from, I think it was an eyedropper or something. I'm going to use that for the front of the spaceship, just stick it there really. This tube came from the squeezy bottle little bit, so I'm going to use that. I'm going to put that onto my build. I'm going to put that dead center so it looks like it's, well, I was, and then I changed my mind. It looked too much like a tank, so I'm just going to move that and put it onto there now. I think that looks a lot better where I've placed it now. And I think it's coming along nicely. Needs something now, needs something else. Needs some more pipes, I do believe. And to make pipes that you can bend around your spaceship, I use garden wire. This has the plastic coating on the outside, so it's dead easy to stick onto other bits of plastic. Just roll yourself a length off, cut it down, and then shape it into whatever shape you need. I didn't show you me doing that because it was kind of fiddly, but there's the garden wire all in place, and what I'm going to use now, just to give the effect that it's stuck to the side of the spaceship, is I've cut down bits of plastic tube from the squeezy bottle and then cut the little bit of plastic in half so it fits over the garden wire like that, if you can see, and it just looks like it belongs as it was supposed to be. So that's everything that I think this ship needs. You could add more or you could add less if you wanted. The one thing that I didn't say that I did, the hole that was in the squeezy container trigger bit, I just cut down some tubing, stuck them down, and then used some beads. Now the beads were from the other half's nail kit that she will never know. Don't tell her. Now everyone knows that I'm not a very good painter, but what I'm going to try and do on this one is try and do some pre-shading. So I'm just going around all the piping with some black, just so then when the next colour goes on, hopefully you might see some sort of darkness coming through the other colour. It might work, it might not. Look, I always experiment with my paintings anyway. So yeah, let's try this. Don't forget to do the underneath, even though you're not going to see underneath, but you'll know it's there, so I always make sure that I do top and bottom. And there's a joke somewhere, but I'm going to leave that joke well alone. I've been flying too close to the sun lately with some of my jokes. And because I've watched Dune Part 2 the other night, this has influenced this build. This is why it's a Dune inspired spaceship. So what I'm going to do is just colour it like a sandy brown. So when it lands on the planet, it's kind of camouflaged. So I'm just trying to spray it lightly, just to try and get those undertones popping through. It's kind of working, not really working, but hey, you know, I make these mistakes so you don't have to. I used, I think it was turquoise colour for the engines, just to make it look different. So I'm just going to shade them with that, and then just keep adding different colours just to tone it down a little bit more. I just wanted it to look different to the rest of the spaceship, I guess. Yes, I'm using my spray gun, but you could easily paint this with dollar store paints. Just water down the paint a little bit so it's lighter and not as thick as what it would come out in the tube. It's simple, you know. I could have used the old paintbrush, but decided that I wanted to use the airbrush for once. You'll also notice on the turntable is 2 juice lids. These juice lids are from, I think they're from yogurt cartons or kids drinks. I'm going to use them as the covers for the tea lights. I wasn't going to paint the pipes, but I wanted them to stand out a little bit, so I just went in with some silver using the paintbrush and just painted them, but left little marks so it looked like the pipes had been scuffed with wear and tear. I went adventurous, a bit like the other half on a Friday night, and decided to break out yellow just to make things pop a little bit, just to change some colours. So I did all the wall plugs yellow. I used some panel liner just to make some stains on the spaceship. Now, if you don't have panel liner, just water down some black until it's really runny. That'll do the same sort of trick. You might just need to apply once, twice, just to get the same sort of effect. Now, I have weathering powders, but I know for a fact that if you just get normal pastels and just crush them down, you get the same effect. And I will be doing that once all this stuff is gone. I'll just be buying the cheap pastels from the dollar store, crushing them down and using them as weathering powder. But I'm just going to weather all the engines and then tone down some of the black from the panel liner that sort of went wrong, which is not unusual for any of my builds, for things to go wrong. And that's what this channel's about, all about learning and trying new techniques. And if things go wrong, I like to keep them in because it's all part of the learning process. And you guys learn with me and know what to do when things do turn out wrong. 90% of the time, it's not all glitz and glamour. It's just called clever editing to make people look really good. And with the fantastic shot of my chunky hand, it's time for the glamour shots, so please like, subscribe, share the video, and until next time, keep scratching that build. And don't forget, send in your pictures.